for some peace of mind, but TikTok said a gator drove a Jeep through the blinds. Florida man's at it again with fireworks and a goat, and someone married a ghost in a Dollar Tree coat. Hey, what in the Walmart rapture is going on? Aliens dancing in a Waffle House song. Kara's got a taser in the checkout line, and Dr. Oz just adopted birds to fight off crime. Oh, I'm just sitting here scrolling, my jaw on the floor. The internet's a circus and I can't take no more. Yeah, when it's wildin', there's a raccoon in the sink. Someone robbed a Wendy's just to steal a frosty drink. A pastor's gone viral yelling about the end is near, while folks ride hoverboards in wedding gear. Hey, what in the Walmart rapture is this mess? Florida's a movie, but it's filmed in VHS. Someone fed meth to a squirrel named Dave, and now he's in a cage just throwing rave. I'm just...
Good morning, everyone. It's Mo, and I am currently, I think, broadcasting in the middle of a hurricane, inland Indiana. I don't know, but it is raining so hard that you can hear it inside my house. Or it has been all morning, and maybe it's just stopped now that I've said that. I am Storm. I do control the weather. Howdy, howdy, Squid Pro Quo. And thank you to Wolfram, our Modly Mod, who does all of the Modly Mod duties along with Squid and JK Debug. Thank you, all of my mods. I've gotten away from thanking you guys every morning, but I need to remember to do that. I am Dayquil Mo today because I think I have figured out that since my daughter started working at a nursery, and let me just say, middle daughter is sweet and kind and great with the kids, but bless her heart, she has been like sick the entire time because children are little petri dishes of the creepy crud. I mean, they're cute for their safety because that's just how they are. But goodness gracious, yes, I do have that story. I do have that story up for today. But definitely, I now have, sore sinuses too. So it's just like wonderful. I really do need to just either completely live in a bubble or start eating dirt. I don't know. And welcome, Anima Rumpier. I am over on Rumble and also X if you want to follow along on not, the YouTubes. Well, our first story, there's a bit of conjecture here still, so I do want to be very clear on that. The U.S. Marshals have declared Travis Decker dead. However, the local police are waiting for DNA. And on this, I sort of side with, being absolutely 100% sure before you do an official kind of talk about it. I don't like this rushing. Again, everything points to this probably being Travis Decker, and it is the most likely. But if it turns out to not be, you have now lied to a bunch of people. I don't understand this. Now, federal officials have declared Travis Decker dead months after he was charged with the murder and the death of his 3 daughters in Washington state. Now, while authorities await the results of DNA testing to, confirm the identity of the human remains found last week, the U.S. Marshals have already declared Decker dead in court papers written to a federal judge, according to court documents obtained by USA Today. Now, this might be to drop federal charges, but you would still think that a judge would want that DNA information. At least, I'm not a lawyerologist or a judgeologist, but you'd think you'd want all the data in. Now, the prosecutors asked the judge to drop the arrest warrant. Now, the fugitive was sought in the taking of the lives of his 3 daughters. We all know the story, but just wanted to give you kind of an update because while it was all over Twitter yesterday, or X, or whatever the hell we want to call it today, I like Baker's twit twat. It's not 100% confirmed. So even though the Fed said officially, it's still not 100%. Now, once we get the DNA back, I will come out here and, tell you guys that. But as of right now, we just don't know 100%. Well, if you were under a rock yesterday, you probably missed this, but a detainee is dead after officials say a shooter fired indiscriminately at a Texas ICE facility. Now, there are a lot of political issues with this. This is not that channel. This is a headline channel. I do have my own opinions about it, but I'm just giving y'all the headlines. There are many, 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 many channels you can go to where people give their hot takes, and maybe I'll start one out when I don't feel like I have the energy of someone who's very, very anemic, although I'm not anemic. It's just been a rainy daggone 2 weeks. Now, on any given day, people detained by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement are processed at the agency field office in Dallas. It's a rectangular brick building tucked between a busy highway and several law offices. Now, on Wednesday morning, the unassuming building became the center of national attention when a quote unquote sniper, I don't know why we have this in air quotes, he was firing from a hidden position with a long form force multiplier. I don't think we need to air quotes this, or, inverted commas if you're from the UK. Indiscriminately at the ICE facility from the roof of another building, leaving unfortunately, and look, one person is dead. I don't care if he was a detainee, whatever. Some family has lost someone, and that's a tragedy. And, two other people have been seriously injured, and that's a tragedy. So I just, it's all tragic. Could we just stop trying to score political points on either side and just admit that this is a tragedy? That's kind of where I stand on a lot of political things. Can we just call a spade and, a book, if it quacks like a duck, looks like a duck, it is a duck, and then just agree it's a terrible tragedy, it shouldn't happen? I don't know. Yeah. MLS is correct. I was going to say gentleman, but it's a misnomer and it's almost paradoxical to call him a gentleman. The person who shot did end up taking his own life. Now, it does look like that person was affiliated with a lot of sort of left-leaning political ideas, but until, we get an official report, I'm not giving you my hot takes. This is just facts are facts. You know, again, it's a tragedy that, one family has lost someone and, two other people are dealing with life-threatening injuries. That's my take on that. We must keep William Shatner safe. I do not want to do another William Shatner story unless he has made a full recovery and he is okay. We already lost Betty White. I just can't do it here lately. Let's see. Star Trek legend William Shatner, 94, was rushed to the hospital in an ambulance after a medical emergency. Star Trek legend William Shatner was hospitalized for a medical emergency involving his blood sugar late Wednesday afternoon, according to sources with direct knowledge. Now, Shatner, 95, who is beloved by Trekkies as the show's lead character, Captain Kirk, is said to have experienced the health downturn when he was at his home. And as someone who knows people with diabetes, the fact that he was able to, call for him, or someone was able to call for his help, because you can become very disorientated if you do have diabetes and your sugar is, up or down. It can lead to a very foggy mental state that almost makes you look like you're impaired or, that. So I'm glad he was able to get help in time. Now, he called emergency services and a Los Angeles Fire Department ambulance arrived on the scene. Now, he was purportedly taken to a local hospital for evaluation and is now resting comfortably and doing well, according to sources telling TMZ. Now, Shatner has had, or still has actually, multiple acting projects in the pipeline and still appears at fan events, including a panel at Dragon Con in Atlanta only last month. Now, the Daily Mail did reach out for a representative to kind of give an update, but he's probably said just about all he's going to say. The health scare comes over a year after Shatner revealed that he is actually a cancer survivor, having been previously diagnosed with stage 4 melanoma. He explained that he had an operation and underwent immunotherapy to treat the condition, although he did not disclose when, according to an industry publication. Now, in 2016, he received a prostate cancer diagnosis that turned out to be a false alarm, thanks to a drastic spike in his levels of PSA. Basically, it's one of the proteins that they look at to scan for cancer. It was really scary, Shatner remembered to NBC News. I was told by a doctor I had a terminal disease and that I was going to die. Now, he attributed his high levels of PSA to testosterone supplements that he was taking at the time of his misdiagnosis, and he has since stopped taking those medications. Now, he's best known for starring as Starship Enterprise Captain Kirk, whom he played through the original run of Star Trek from 1966 to 1969. He also then went on to, star in 7 movies. So about Star Trek. Again, I do hope that we keep this gentleman as safe as we can. Also, TJ Hooker, that's right. Are we sure it wasn't the Borg or the Klingons? Or were the Borg next generation and the Klingons... Look, y'all, I'm a Star Wars person, not a Trek person, so I don't know. I do not know. He's also known for later career roles such as the title character in 1980s police procedural T.J. Hooker and beauty pageant master of ceremonies in the 2000 awesome movie Miss Congeniality. He still enjoys a busy career with 3 upcoming projects on his IMDb, and his love life has attracted speculation just last month when remarriage rumors started flying. Now, his 4th ex-wife, Elizabeth Martin, who at 66 is nearly 3 decades his junior, split up with him in 2019 but reunited with him during the coup. Now, okay, I'm not going to get into his relation dateship kind of stuff. Thank you so much, MLS. I appreciate it so very much and appreciate you coming over here. You taught me how to use StreamYard, and for that I will be forever grateful. And I'm sorry for the abuse to your liver after trying to explain to me all of the technological stuff, because I am sure that was not easy. Y'all, he literally had to tell me, you have to join the group or the room. I was that bad. I'm only slightly better now, which is not the cute thing. But thank you so much, MLS. Actually, in further, look, we are on a tangent. It is raining outside like cats and dogs, and my tangentometer / panometer is on, so I have another tangent. Actually, this is more like an accountability thing, which is terrifying for me. Y'all know that I am Howard Hughes level of inside cat. But I have been playing around with the idea, hypothetically, of doing some open mic stuff for comedy. And Mr. Mo happened to find one fairly locally this morning. So now I am challenging myself to start looking into that actually seriously, which is terrifying for me because I am okay doing this in the comfort of my room, but it's always something I wanted to try. And I figured I came out of my comfort zone for this particular endeavor and it's turned out so great. So I could try it. Uh no, no. I'm not a boy, so that would just end up messy. No, well, and to be fair, I have the master bedroom, so I already have a restroom right in there. No, I mean, not that. I did tell Mr. Mo he's not allowed to come with me for the first day, and I'm wearing a wig. And he's all like, he was all worried about it because basically where the open mic night is I jokingly refer to it as the San Francisco of Indiana because it is absolutely, a college town with about as left-leaning ideas as you can get in rural Indiana, okay? Not to mention, it always smells like patchouli, and you play the wonderful game in rural Indiana, stank or skunk, or chronic or, skunk. So you get to play those fun games. And so he was like, you can't make any political jokes. I was like, sweetheart, I don't generally make those. I know my audience. Yeah, well, that's the thing. So basically, my opening joke is going to be because I've already thought about it. That would be so awesome. I just need to figure out what kind of camera you're supposed to use. And honestly, I don't know if I would have to have so many wigs to do the selfie stick thing. That being said, my opening joke is going to be because you guys can't see me, but I always wear these long, very Pentecostal looking skirts. So I was going to go up here and say, is this the prayer circle? And then I'm going to laugh and say, how many people have, thought that I was coming in here to, try to make Deuteronomy funny? It's already funny. There's dude in it, or something to that effect. But it's that. Yeah, I am looking at Mo in the Wild. Uh, I will be really, really legitimate with you guys. This year has been a weird juxtaposition of my world expanding online and my ability to actually go be functional in the real world kind of shrinking because it's been such a hard year. So it is so weird, kind of how like I'm going all over on the interwebs, in my relative, not tooting my own horn kind of thing. But I'm also spending most of my time not online in my bed doing cross stitch. Like, be peanut butter and jealous if you'd like. I do lead a glamorous life, listening to WW2 documentaries and cross stitching. Well, so Mr. Mo, okay, again, we are on just full on tangent. And it's actually going to work out okay because Megan Fox is going to be a little later when we jump over to hers. So I basically did all of this in musings, but Mr. Mo was sure that with my new vanity, I was going to start doing makeup tutorials. Now, there is no way in Hades sideways I am ever doing makeup tutorials. Look, y'all don't want to know the almost hour that I spent trying to figure out the tone and the contoury and the highlighty. No, no, there's a lot of cursing. There's a lot of, and then running back to my chair to see if I look like I have seen the sun once in a millennia. So that being said, but he was like, no, you could do makeup. And I was like, oh, sweetheart. Now, I don't remember the movie's name, but the movie with Eric Stoltz, the one ginger that I had a crush on from the 80s, and his best friend was this chick with the buzz cut, and she did the drums. I wanted to be her when I grew up. I was like, that chick is badass. Didn't ever pull off the pixie cut well at all. That being said, I am about that girl. So I have had people helping me out. I've been watching these tutorials And I have realized that if it takes you an hour and a half to look like you have no makeup on at all, that is not a lifestyle I'm going to be making. Again, the first time I used my contour kit, honest to God, was when I played Dude Man and I used the contour to give me a kind of 5 o'clock shadow. I am not lying. I can't. So he was for sure that I was going to start a makeup channel. And I was like, oh, sweetheart, you've not met me before. But that's kind of that. So don't ever expect a makeup or a nail channel from me because I don't know. And Alice G, yes, we saved up, and this is actually a lift chair with heat and massage. It is like my bestest friend ever. And it's so nice and comfy, and I can have a blanket on because I am perpetually freezing and you guys can't see. I do want you to be able to see more of me, like not in the OnlyFans way, but this is actually it's my semi-permanent office space because the next project is going to be my actual soundproofed office. So eventually I want to get a setup where I can kind of do the whole sit in a chair, have a tablet-y thing, but be a little bit further away. Because if you haven't noticed, I talk with my hands, and I feel like you guys aren't getting that enough. You just aren't getting the jazz hands of Mo. Mr. Mo has done this when I'm just on a tangent. And he's like, okay, put your hands together and then try to talk. And I'm like, I go into buffer mode. I really do. Well, in miraculous things, and sometimes we put a lot of, emphasis on sort of the bad headlines, but I definitely wanted to cover this. I did have this pulled for yesterday, but then I did want to take out Mr. Mo. This is the crazy thing that happens when you're an inside cat and you marry a golden retriever. I have literally given birth to three Walmart greeters, like the absolute like most peoply people I have ever met. My boy children have never met a stranger. My my girl children, it's a 50-50 chance. Boy children, it's like they are the happiest labradoodles ever. I coined the term like aggressively friendly. Like they're just like giant dogs that think they're lap dogs. That's just what it is. Back to the original story. A girl shot in the head during the Minneapolis Catholic school shooting is making a miraculous recovery, her family has said. A seventh grade girl, and thank you, MLS. Well, you guys, I know that things are tight out there. So, if you, as Megan says, have ramen noodle money, if you can share this out and let people know, that would be just wonderful. And think I'd be grateful for that too. Thank you, MLS. I am trying to grow, but you guys have done awesome. I didn't ever think that I was going to have this many people watching me. So, absolutely, I am just blown away half the time. Because y'all have to understand, I went from an audience of six children who barely listened to me to then three people who were listening to me and interacting with me. It's the coolest damn thing. Moms out there, it's like, oh, people are listening. They hear the words from my mouth and they're interacting with them. I feel seen. Thank you so much, Granny Smith. Thank you. And, just to let you guys know that my kids keep my egos down because I was so proud of myself when I hit 1,000. And I told my kids, I was like, you guys, I got like a goal. And my son thought I was getting my million subscribe or however a plaque. He's like, so are you opening your plaque? And I said, no, this is for 1,000 people. He's like, lame. So I will never turn into a Kardashian. I swear to goodness. I swear to goodness. I did I did not. And thank you so very much, Cher. Thank you. And thank you, Lori. And just for you lurkers, I do have a stinger. I'm inordinately proud of it because, and thank you so much, Sherry. And MLS, thank you. Thank you guys so much. And just for you lurkers, now, as you guys know, I am about as, or I started out about as technologically, available and normal as your Aunt Edith with a jitterbug. But I made this for all you lurkers. Just if you can, once in a while, test out the waters. See, this is a good chat, but YouTube is a-hole, and he says lurkers don't matter. But I think you do, and here's our anthem going forward.
Snark loves a lurker. We see you all the same. Lurkers unite. You're the silent delight. Watching in shadows, but still in the fight. No chat, no shame. You still boost the game. Snark loves a lurker. We see you all the same.
Thank you so much, Dan Davis. Already lost an arm and a leg, but how about a toe? Oh, well, you be a good patient. Or, no, that's the wrong person. Sorry. My brain is here, sort of. And Squid, have fun. Eat that entire cake by yourself. Go get some Little Debbie's and eat them, in your closet. Or get yourself a blizzard. Have a wonderful birthday. Do whatever the heck you want. And thank you so much, Side Eye. Well, this is me. So, in real life, you wouldn't think I would do this, but I kind of treat everything like I am Mo, because I have extreme social anxiety. Thank you, 4.99. So I've kind of always been in Mo mode because I am a charming mix of extrovert and introvert. So it does feel like I have dual personalities sometimes, but it definitely, and I will say, you know what? 40 is not as scary as I thought it was going to be. Of course, I refuse to go any further, just so the government and everyone is aware at the DMV, I refuse to go any further. I have willingly accepted this, but, I'm done. Although I have gotten to the age where it does kind of hurt my soul when the ladies just don't even look at my card. They're just like, yeah, you're old enough to get booze. Oh, side confessional. Okay, so as I was having to walk my golden doodle husband and, take him out to show my appreciation for all that he's picked up since he's retired, and I've been sort of in not the greatest place to help with all projects and house stuff. We were going there and we were going up to Greenwood to, I needed to get some more thread. I know, my glamorous life, from Hobby Lobby. And we were looking at stuff for wall decorations. So I was getting the whole idea that, okay, we'll go look at wall decorations and thread. Well, Mr. Mo decided to test the very limited Jesus in me because I'm pulling out, like 7 embroidery threads that I need. And he's like, are you very certain you haven't looked in all of your thread kits to make sure you don't have those exact colors? And I do believe I did a Linda Blair all the way in Hobby Lobby as they're like piping the Christian rock in. And I'm like, and I gave him the look like, the Charlene look from Archer, like, "You're not my supervisor." I said, "Oh, no, sweetheart. Let me put down the 69-cent thread." I was like, "I have my own fun money. I do what I want." Turned into Cartman. But then we went to my favorite shop other than Hobby Lobby. There is like a wine porium, like a a boxed wine mom's mecca, okay? There is the Taj Mahal of alcoholics. This like wine and spirits, all that other stuff. Well, that is my favorite place to go. And it's always funny because Mr. Mo laughs at me more than anyone because I always talk about drinking, but I don't really drink a lot. I did go to Total Wine. It's my bestest favorite place. But I don't actually drink a whole heck of a lot. I just don't. I have a very low tolerance, so like, a normal drink at a restaurant will will knock me on my behind. Anyway, so I kind of went there because when I'd gone to Dollywood, they had these special sodas and they really help with my leg. They really settle it down. And oh my Bob Ross, y'all, what in the patchouli heaven? They had a whole daggone aisle. Now I'm just throwing things in because Mr. Mo's like, knock yourself out. If they help you, they help you. And so, I'm just trying different flavors, putting them all into the thing and, getting that. And I might have gone a little crazy because I didn't expect the price that came at the end, nor did she ask me for my card, and I was already feeling insulted. And then she's like, "That'll be $70." And I was like, "Oh." So I pull out the food card because Mr. Mo has this whole budgeting scheme. Like we have a food card and a gas card and my fun money card, which like I'm going to spend my fun money on booze because, hey, it's fun for the whole family. So I used the food card and he's like, "Wait a minute, how does this count as food?" And I said, "Well, these special sodas will make me want a Dairy Queen Blizzard. A Dairy Queen Blizzard is in fact food, ergo, ipso facto, food." I felt like Hank Brennan in that moment. I was like, I have crafted an unbeatable argument. He did not quite find my budgeting, expense allowance ideas as kosher as his, but I still maintain that that is a true and logical stance and possibly the rightest thing I've ever said in my life. Back to the story. A seventh grade girl who has been hospitalized since she was shot in the head during Mass at Annunciation Catholic Church in Minneapolis last month has made what her friends and family describe as miraculous progress and will be transferred this week to an inpatient rehabilitation program. Now, Sophia Forchaz was shot on August 27th when an assailant armed with a long form force multiplier, another long form, and a short form opened fire through the windows of the church during morning mass. The attack killed two children, 8-year-old Fletcher Merkel and 10-year-old Harper Moisky, and injured 21 other people, including 18 children. Now, the assailant also took themselves out, and I do so enjoy when garbage takes itself out, because that is the one chore I do not do. That is the one thing that I will go full on feminist I won't do is is take out the trash. I have 3 boys, I have a husband, I will not do it. I refuse. It is the only thing that Mr. Mo and I argue about because I genuinely refuse to take out the trash. It is the only thing that I am a pretty princess, like person about because I am willing to help with any other thing. I just will not take out the trash. Okay, that and clog toilets. But that is totally a man thing and I don't know what I'm doing half the time. And the one time I tried to use a snake, I found a Hot Wheels car when Mr. Mo was on deployment and I just never again. Never again. Now, She was shot in the left temporal lobe, and a bullet remained lodged in her right occipital lobe, according to Dr. Gaglich. I am probably absolutely butchering this man's name. He is the chief of neurology at Hennepin Healthcare. Sophia surviving this horrific attack is a miracle, her family said in a statement on Monday, September 22nd, released through Hennepin Healthcare. Her healing progress is nothing short of miraculous, an undeniable testament to the mercy and intervention of our Lord Jesus Christ. The family said Sophia continues to make steady progress, showing promising signs of neurological recovery, adding that Sophia still has a very long journey ahead filled with extensive therapy. She will be transferred from an acute care unit at Hennepin County Medical Center to an inpatient rehabilitation program. In a statement released September 12th, the family said doctors had initially warned them that she was very, very close to death. And that she might have to have one side of her skull removed as part of her treatment. She did, in fact, have to do that. So a lot of her rehabilitation is going to be waiting for her swelling to go down. It's not very clear whether they've already, grafted the part of the skull back on, but it does take a while. So she's going to be incredibly fragile, and she's going to need to relearn a lot of things. The temporal lobe is an important part. But the fact that she's making progress, the fact that she is still here is an absolute miracle. And I am so glad that that was the story for her family. And my heart aches for the families who didn't get that story. Even the family of the unaliver, because they probably remember bringing that tiny baby home. And that's a hard thing to try to keep in mind when you are just so rightly outraged. But it's something I have to remind myself a lot, especially when I do the news every day. Now, we are moving on to the final form Jesus portion of this, and we've got some crazy stories that are going to make you wonder, well, was Nostradamus right? Are we in the end times? Or that Baba Yaga chick, is she right? Because this is all just a little too much. But every day there's a new bunch of these and a new batch, and goodness knows I'm here for it. I mean, it's kind of like the funnest thing ever to find these weird stories.
The G-Keep scrolls, thou glowing shrine of thirst traps, scams, and dollar signs. We chant in tones both grim and low, for virtue fled a long time ago. Kyrie eleison, Christe descendat, final form Jesus return in wrath. With six-pack listening, sword in hand, he cometh swift to cleanse the land.
Y'all, actually, can I renew my prayers for the big meteor of death, and my renewed prayers that the cockroaches and sentient Twinkies that take over after the demise of humanity will do a better job? Cardi B says she spent $13,000 on her diamond butt crack piercing. Yes, that's not a typo. She got a crack pierce. And just when I had hoped that it was maybe on the mouth and do want to do things. Then she lost the jewelry in the most unexpected place. You got a butt crack piercing. Cardi B is revealing details about her new butt piercing. Sentences I never thought I'd say. On Wednesday, September 24th, an episode of Call Her Daddy podcast, the rapper 32 spoke about the risque piercing she first showed off in January. It didn't hurt, she shared when the host Alex Cooper asked about the process. Cardi then clarified she didn't feel any pain from the piercing because that part of her butt is numb due to a prior procedure. I mean, it just seems like an odd place to put a diamond, but hey, if it's your money and you want to do that and rip up your toilet paper, have fun. I mean, honestly, with her nails, I don't know how she accomplishes any sanitary issues. I'm not going to recommend it to people because I had surgery on my butt, she explained. Sometimes people say that my butt is too big, but they don't understand that I already had a big butt and did butt surgery to reduce my badonkadonk. I practically did a tummy tuck on my butt, so the top of my butt, that part of the skin is numb. So when I pierce my okay, so when I pierce my ass, I ain't feeling dick. It was the easiest piercing ever. That's it. The news is done. I'm done for the day. Cardi also said that the piercing cost her $13,000 because it used real diamonds, before revealing the jewelry was swiftly lost about a month after she got it. I realized I was like, hold on. I was looking around, looking at my pants and my undies and stuff, and I'm like, yep, it went down the toilet. That's not unexpected. You got a piercing on the part of your body that you most likely would put on a toilet. Now, if you said you had lost it in the middle of Kmart, that would have been unexpected. If you'd said you were jumping on a trampoline and it fell out, that would be unexpected. If you said you were running from Bengal ligers and your butt piercing fell out in defensive flak maneuvers, that would be unexpected. But no, you losing it in the toilet is not unexpected. Now, when Cooper asked if she'd gotten the piercing redone yet, Cardi said she hasn't because she hasn't been in the mood. However, she added that the piercer offered to refund her for the lost piercing. I give up. Again, sentient Twinkies and cockroaches, if you should find this recording in the far-flung future or next Tuesday, we tried. I tried to speak out against this. This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Well, yeah, because this is a not scary idea. A Russian startup is testing cow neural implants to boost milk production. Look, Skynet is already after us, and now we're going to have sentient cows. Y'all better keep going to Chick-fil-A. That's all I got to say. If the cows take over, Chick-fil-A is going to be everyone's favorite restaurant. I hope you like chicken. A Russian tech startup, Neri, has become the first in the world to insert neuroimplants into cows' brains to increase milk yield when all other methods are exhausted. Now, Neri has announced its intention to begin testing these neuroimplants on live cows back in April. So last month, it performed surgery on 5 cows to fit them with a stimulator attached to the back of the head and electrodes that penetrate deep into the brain. With the help of these devices, they hope to be able to reach areas responsible for appetite, stress, and reproductive function and stimulate them through electric impulses. Is this Clockwork Cow? Like, what in the Clockwork Orange am I? Holy no, don't. Again, when the cows take over, we are gonna so pay for this. I better eat all the baconators I can right now. Going into the cow gulag. Now, the tests were first performed in Russia's Sverdlovsk region, and so far the results have been very encouraging. According to an investor, many dairy cow farms have measured increased production and already implemented it. So there you go. This is a terrible idea. This is Dan Davis. I want to know what the jeweler is going to clean that. I don't know. I think it's lost in the water sewage plant place, wherever that is. The water treatment company is going to get it. Thank you so much, Dan Davis. RoboCow is on his way. You guys, did we not learn anything from Jurassic Park? You know, not that, look, I love Jeff Goldblum playing a doctor just as much as everyone else. But in my full most Jeff Goldblumiest, Did you ever stop to think, just because you could, if you should? I mean, again, now we're gonna have to deal with Terminator McBeefy cake. I don't need this kind of stuff. This is not the future I was promised. I was promised a jetpack, a rosy robot, a house that was in the cloud, and, pills in, well, food in pill form and pills in food form. Honestly, this is not fair. I was not promised this future. I was promised flying cars and a jetpack. This is RoboCow is not what I'm here for. In Look, we're gonna send I have decided we're sending this person to Snake Island, so we're having a little inception, a segment within a segment, because this absolute douche canoe, and when you find out what this person did, it is so beyond stupid. You will wonder if there were any brain cells involved in this.
It's a curse, we've got room for the wicked, the cruel, and the worst. If you lie, if you cheat, if your soul's made of bile, you're bound for the fangs and the venom in style. Oh, one-way ticket to Snake Island. Oh, let the conscience, less cowards and gaslighters go. No anchor, no lifeboat, no tearful goodbyes. Just kissing and coming in cold-blooded skies. Back up your friend.
Okay, honest to goodness, I don't know who needs to hear this. I don't know how many times I need to make this public service announcement, but don't F with people's kids. If you don't want to see Appalachian levels of crazy parenthood come out, if you don't want to see people's crazy come out, do not mess with people's kids. This has been, a Mo public service announcement. A South Carolina teaching assistant has been arrested for allegedly releasing fart spray, causing $55,000 worth of damage and making students physically sick. Fart spray. What in the man-child is this crap? Do not let my children, all of my boy children who have, seasonal asthma because come home, choking because you have sprayed some artificial thing when you look, sir, you look capable of setting your own record for silent but deadly. I'm sure you don't need a spray. Sub Rosa, it's anyone that day. A South Carolina teaching assistant has been arrested for allegedly releasing fart spray in the school building. Alexander Lewis, 32, allegedly used the stink spray multiple times at West Florence High School in Florence between August 25th and September 19th, creating a foul odor and causing respiratory issues for some of the students, Florence County Sheriff's Office said in a news release on Facebook. Investigators have arrested a Florence man alleged to have been responsible for creating a foul odor at Florence High School. He is alleged to have sprayed an internet-acquired spray designed to imitate fecal odor at the school on multiple occasions over time, resulting in the disruption of school. Now, authorities reported that the children required medical attention for respiratory issues, and the school has also had to pay $55,000 in inspection and damage fees for their air conditioning system as a result of this incident and the repeated nature of it. Now, he was arrested on charges of disturbing schools and malicious injury to property with value over $10,000 on Saturday, September 20th. According to ABC 15 News, students reported smelling a strong gas-like odor throughout the entire school, leaving them feeling nauseous, dizzy, and suffering from headaches. Parents also reported their kids staying home as a result of the effects on the spray. Every time I go to my second block class, I walk up the stairwell and immediately teachers are covering their nose and mouths, coughing because of the smell. One student told the outlet, "I got physically sick the other day because of the smell. I feel like I'm going to pass out because I get so lightheaded and dizzy. My son's been complaining 3 days now that it's causing him to have headaches," a parent told ABC 15 News. "It's concerning, especially when it's affecting my children's health." Now, Lewis is being held at the Florence County Detention Center on a bond of $1,090, and he will appear next in court on October 15th. The investigation is ongoing and additional charges are possible. Yeah, this deserves, look, this man, this is a tough one because I do believe that there could be some practically implemented behavioral correction, but this man also deserves due process because it is the justice system. While imperfect, he deserves his day in court. However, if people decided to put flaming dog poo next to him, I mean, who am I to judge? I'm not Jesus. You have to follow your own conscience and don't do that because it's a crime to go on people's property. There's jokes and then there's, letting the law do their law thing. But if I were a parent, my kid would be out of that high school. I'm not watching my kids suffer from migraines because you hired a man child. Now, those of y'all that are in Florida, you might want to take care. And as always, I am not here to do the mainstream media, fear prawn. But this is definitely a article and something that you should possibly be on the lookout for. Dueling tropical systems could see a Fujiwara effect and what that might mean for Florida. After an unseasonably long pause, the Atlantic hurricane season is alive again with twin tropical systems that some models show heading in parallel tracks along the coast of Florida and the southeast. Or it could be a setup for a Fujiwara effect, an atmospheric phenomenon whereby two nearby storms interact and affect each other. Now, a senior research scientist at Colorado State University said the effect, also called binary interaction by scientists who study such things, occurs when two systems are within 800 miles of each other. Sometimes if you have a strong storm and a weak storm, one will basically swallow the other up, he said. Other times, because each of these has a counterclockwise spin, they can push each other or dance around each other. Now, it is too early to know for sure if that could happen with these two systems. So again, it's not something that you need to be terrified about. But, common wisdom would say, hey, make preparations, have your kind of go plan, have your shutter covers and all that kind of stuff. Because it could be, just the same things you would do during a regular hurricane system. That being said, this is something that they are looking at possibly happening. And, the systems are within 750 to 800 miles of each other. And there is a complexity, from scienceologists who look at this stuff that say they are likely to interact with each other. So that might just be something to keep an eye on. I don't know enough about the science to really give you more than that. And in an update to a story that we kind of covered, I know the hell you did not ask for. We're restarting this. Aha. I don't even know this guy's name. Oh, you are such a butthole. Anyway, Dave Forvid, or whatever the rapper's name, who a young girl was found in the back of a car that he owned, he is looking at the mansion that he has allegedly has been cleaned out. So that is something to keep an eye on. This is actually a Lord daggone son of a biscuit monkey. No, where's the belly flop one? Is this that one? Oh no. Anyway, it looks like the school. I'll have to do a separate video about it because I cannot find it to save my life right now. It does look like the school is moving forward with disciplining the football player who did the like belly flop on a player that was already on the ground. In other ridiculous news, a mysterious crocodile was found lurking in Michigan. Michigan and Wisconsin, are y'all fighting for like the Florida of the Midwest? Not that I'm putting on any airs, because Indiana has just as many stories that we could be the Florida Midwest. That being said, alligators. Michigan police were called out to the front yard of a home to wrangle up an unusual non-native animal, a South American crocodile, as you do. The Hampton Township Public Safety Department said officers were dispatched Tuesday to a home where residents reported spotting a suspected alligator in the front yard. Officers arrived to find an animal that was actually 3 feet long and a crocodile. So it wasn't a gator, it was a crocodile. The crocodile is now in the care of keepers at the Birch Run Zoo. There's no information at this time as to how the croc got out and into the wild. It was a drive-by crocking. They just didn't realize you were supposed to put croc shoes out. It was a gatoring. Just what in the name of all the giblets? In legal news, that is definitely going to be a case to watch. It looks like the first of many wrongful death suits have been filed in the case of American Airlines Flight 5342. So I expect this to be the first of many, and this will probably take a long time to get through the court system since it involved, the U.S. Department of Defense, a military helicopter, but it does look like there has been a federal lawsuit filed. A wife whose husband was among the victims of a deadly plane crash in Washington, D.C., has filed a wrongful death lawsuit against 2 airlines and the federal government. Now, the suit comes months after American Airlines Flights 5342 collided with a U.S. helicopter. No, the U.S. helicopter collided with the American Airlines flight. Let's get that right. Over the Potomac River near Reagan National Airport on January 29th, killing 67 people in the deadliest aircraft incident in the United States since 2001. Now, attorneys representing Rachel Crafton, who lost her husband, Casey Crafton, in the crash, filed the complaint against American Airlines, PSA Airlines, and the federal government in the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia on Wednesday, September 24th. I do not have a birthday song. I do need to make one up or have Shizzy send the word, because I do not know. But I will make one and do a belated happy birthday. Let's see here. Casey, 40, lived in Connecticut with his wife and their 3 sons, according to Connecticut Insider, and worked at Guardian Jet in Guilford. The defendants were required to exercise extreme vigilance when operating and or controlling aircraft in the vicinity of Ronald Reagan Airport. These defendants, however, utterly failed in their responsibilities to the traveling public, specifically including passengers aboard AE 5342, the lawsuit claims. Now, the suit claims that Rachel has suffered a profound emotional and psychological loss. Absolutely, this is not in any way debatable. Attorney Robert Clifford, who's representing 9 of the victims' families, said that the cases will be filed individually, then consolidated, and damages for each claim may vary. Defendants' collective failure, for which they are jointly and severally liable, caused or contributed to the mid-air collision complained of herein, resulting in the tragic deaths of 67 individuals, specifically including plaintiff's decedent Casey Crafton. Now, a spokesperson for American Airlines told People that the American and PSA families continue to mourn the lives lost in the tragic incident following Flight 5342. Yeah, that doesn't sound like we're going to make it up. You can mourn and do something. You can mourn and atone. It's not a singular thing. It doesn't exclude or excuse in action. Aviation safety requires multiple layers of compliance with detailed procedures, restrictions, and operational standards across a full range of pilots and air traffic controllers. Together, these layers have made U.S. aviation the safest in the world. At the recent NTSB investigative hearing showed Flight 5342 was on a routine approach to DCA when the Army helicopter that was above the published helicopter route collided with it. So you're taking no responsibility. You knew this was a problem. You had had several close calls in the intervening years between when this became routine. This is something that you foresaw. This is something that air traffic controllers have been bitching about forever. And we learned in that NTSB, because yes, I'm absolutely a I am an NTSB like junkie. It's the only functional part of the government. Prove me wrong. They go out, they find a problem, they require people to fix a problem. It's like the only government service that is fit for purpose. That being said, I also like to watch, Mayday airline, disasters to relax. So therapist would have a field day with me. That being said, it was brought up by the leader of the NTSB that air traffic controllers who had complained about the fact that this was in fact dangerous and a accident waiting to happen were transferred by the Federal Aviation, the FAA, for complaining. They were transferred. So I'm sorry, but this was known about, and steps need to be taken to make sure it never happens again. I'm not going to do PR for the airlines and people who know how dangerous this was and didn't do anything to prevent it. Well, we've come to the portion of the show where I name and shame monsters. As a quick aside and, limited liability statement, yeah, exactly, JKD Buck. What pisses me off is people did stand up and speak out, but they were silenced. Absolutely. Absolutely, they did. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Now we're coming to the part where we do naming and shaming of monsters. Lord Chippy awaits, as always, and for people who don't understand hyperbole, let's let, due process do its thing, but I can still name and shame and be just as snarky. So here's Lord Chippy to start us off with the naming and shaming segment of our show.
They're our skin, they steal our grace. These monsters wear a human face. No gavel, no badge, no throne, no crown can stop Lord Chippy from burning them down. Justice ain't fast, justice ain't clean. It's a long, sharp road through the in-between. So raise your fists and light your flames. Chippy's coming and he don't play games.
Now, beyond the, ever obvious and not so subtle, response of, what the hell is wrong with you? And maybe it's Satan. I mean, beyond that, so your lady, your, life partner, your girlfriend decides to take a smoke off your vape and you beat her to the point she is unrecognizable. What the hell is wrong with you? 36 documented injuries to her head alone. A man lays hands on a romantic partner to the point she is beyond recognition in an apartment after catching her using his vape without asking. What? An Arizona man unleashed an extremely vicious attack on a woman inside his apartment, slamming her into walls, punching her, and giving her a neck hug until she lost consciousness after he caught her using his vape without asking, prosecutors said. The victim was laid hands on beyond recognition, explained Maricopa County Prosecutor Don Sauer during Nicholas Vicino's bond hearing this week. She had 36 documented injuries to her head alone. The forensic nurse described the victim's injuries as being in the top 5 worst she has ever seen. Now, this douche canoe A 32-year-old from Tempe allegedly attacked the woman inside his apartment on Sunday. Court records obtained by KSAZ outline how he set upon the victim after noticing she had used his vape while he was showering. He is accused of grabbing the woman and doing all of this, threatened her with a force multiplier, and then forced her to clean up the blood as he disposed of her clothes. As the onslaught unfolded, he allegedly called the woman derogatory names and put his force multiplier to his forehead, or to her forehead. Now, this is just absolutely grotesque, and if this sounds like, it doesn't have to be this extreme, but if this sounds like something that you're dealing with in your own life, please safely take steps to leave. I know it is scary. I know you are terrified, but no one deserves this. No one. Male, female, zimzer, I don't care. If this, makes you think about some things you've been ignoring in your own relationships, some eggs you have to, eggshells you have to walk over, please. As someone who's been there, done that, I'm not going to tell you that it's not scary as hell, that you don't feel like you're jumping without a parachute. What I can tell you is that you come back to yourself, and you may not understand how you walk through it, but you do. You absolutely do. And there's life after that. So just, think about it. I have no words. A Florida 7-Eleven clerk, are we shocked? Are we shocked that Florida man has made an appearance? A Florida 7-Eleven clerk kidnapped a customer over an argument about punctual service. That'll learn them. You want me to be on time? I'm not going to let you leave. The logic train is not there. A Florida 7-Eleven clerk was recently arrested for locking up a customer during an argument. Mike Wingham, 49, stands accused of one count of kidnapping by false imprisonment, according to Seminole County court records. The underlying incident occurred at a 7-Eleven on South Orlando Drive in Sanford, a medium-sized city in the broader Orlando metro area, according to an arrest report obtained by Law and Crime. On September 15th, a man called police about his experience while trying to purchase a Black and Mild, a popular flavored small cigar, and potential, devil's lettuce holder. But, to each their own. The man said when he entered the store, the defendant was cleaning up and did not stop to assist him or help him, according to the arrest report. Quickly, one man's desire for cleanliness and one man's desire for tobacco dovetailed into a verbal argument. Now, eventually, Wiggum told the customer to leave the store or he would have him trespassed and sent to jail. Next, the customer said the defendant locked the door and didn't allow him to leave while he called 911. According to the report, the customer told Wiggum that he was kidnapping him, so the clerk unlocked the door and awaited law enforcement. The responding officers met with the customer, who said he wanted to press charges against the defendant over the incident. The customer, as it turned out, had recorded his encounter inside the convenience store. Police say the footage supported the customer's narrative of events. During the argument, I observed the defendant leave from behind the cash register to walk to the front door, lock the front door, then physically stand in front of the door, pulling the door shut to prevent the customer from exiting while on the phone with 911, Sanford police officer wrote on the arrest report. The customer's tone in the video appeared to be agitated but not aggressive, and the customer was locked in the store for approximately 1 minute and 30 seconds. In the footage, he does tell the worker, "You can't lock me in no store, man, you crazy as hell." Oh my gosh, please release the body cam footage on this. I need this in my life. Come on now. This might be our song of the week. This is just too crazy. This is just too crazy. According to the arrest report at length, the defendant stated he was scared something might happen during the incident, so he went to the back of the store. The defendant stated he wanted the customer to leave and called 911. The defendant stated he then locked the door to hold the customer until police arrived. See, that doesn't really gel with you being scared because, like, let's change out the situation a little bit. If I were in the woods if I were in a convenience store with a bear and I was terrified of the bear, I'd, I'd, I'd be throwing donuts out the front door and propping that door wide open so I would have the bear in the outside. Now, this gentleman who had you horrified, Mr. 7-Eleven employee, was trying to leave, and you were like, no, let's keep the bear inside. Yeah, okie dokie. I mean, this makes perfect sense. I mean, makes all the sense in the world. Who wouldn't do this? This makes total Florida logic. Sorry, I'm sending it to Shizzy to see if he thinks it's song worthy. Because, sometimes we just need a little Florida man song. And in my continued ever growing hate boner for people who drive drunk, look, I believe everyone is capable of redemption. Doesn't mean I have to like what you've done. And I believe that people who drive impaired are some of the most selfish a-holes in the world. Look, I never claimed to be Jesus or Oprah, so I'm going to go ahead and keep my hate boner because it's never the drunk driver, usually never, that gets hurt. It's always, an innocent like train of nun like or like, bus full of nuns or a school bus. It's never the, drunk a-hole decided to play Russian roulette with everyone else's lives that gets hurt. All I heard was a smack. A pregnant mother crossing the road with fiance is mowed over and sent rolling down the street by a Land Rover. A pregnant Illinois mother crossing the street with her fiance was mowed down and killed by a woman in a Land Rover who claimed to police that she had no idea what she hit. It wasn't until the woman allegedly saw reports about the victim's death that she realized she had hit a person. The hell? Like, if I thought I hit a possum, and you guys know that those scared the bejesus out of me. Like the ever-living hell, again, I know they are helpful to the ecology and kill a lot of things, but they legitimately look like demons and I'm just saying, if God wanted me to like them, he should have made them look a bit cuter. Because I love armadillos, but possums... Look, if I were in charge of the ark, we wouldn't have possums, okay? That being said, like a couple months ago, I thought I'd run into one, and it was early in the morning, so I paused and I got out of my car, put my hazards on, and tried to see. I don't know what I was likely to do. I didn't know if I was going to try possum like resuscitation. I have no earthly clue what I thought my eventual like Dr. Mo medicine veterinarian was going to be, but I was going to try to render assistance of some kind to this animal I'd wronged. So how do you run over a person and be like, did I hit a pothole? Now, all I heard was a smack, recounted Charlie Walkenoff, fiance of victim Michelle Heidelbrick, in an emotional interview with local CW affiliate WGN. The next thing I knew, she's rolling down the street. Walkenoff said, crying, "They hit my baby so hard. I was trying to yell to get people to call 911, and someone stopped, and they did." Rosalinda Vaca, 49, is charged with leaving the scene of an accident involving death, a felony in connection with the Sunday night hit and run in Waukegan, according to online records. Now, her black 2016 Land Rover SUV was seized by police. Now, to be fair, they haven't gotten to a point where they've said that she was intoxicated, so my hate boner might have been premature, but it does seem like she was distracted. And playing with your phone is just as dangerous. Don't play with your phone. I am constantly yelling at my girls like, you are in charge of a deadly weapon when you are driving a car. Don't play around with that, because every time you drive, I put the fear of God into my children. I was like, every time you drive, one moment of inattention is all you need to screw your entire life up and to destroy someone's family. Treat it like that every time. Of course, then they decided to bring up that, you need to stop playing Queen in the car then. And I was like, look, I can sing Bohemian Rhapsody and still, pay attention to stuff. Don't you be sassing me. Now, her black 2016 Land Rover SUV was seized by police and is being looked at as part of a still ongoing investigation per Lake and McHenry County scanners. Now, Heidelberg's unborn baby also lost their lives too. Police reportedly questioned Vaca about what happened, and she allegedly admitted to knowing she had struck something on Sunday night in the area of Grand Avenue and Jackson Street, but claimed she had no idea what it was. It wasn't until after Vaca caught wind of Heidelberg's death at the same area that she realized what must have happened. She just turned 5 months on September 15th. Walkenoffs told WGN about the couple's unborn child. "My baby didn't deserve to die that way." Now, Vaca reportedly surrendered to Waukegan police on Tuesday after hearing the news. A witness allegedly identified her and the Land Rover she was driving on Sunday night when she slammed into Heidelberg. As she was crossing, the southbound roadway at Grand Avenue. A witness confirmed that Vaca allegedly refused to stop and kept on driving. Heidelberg leaves behind an 18-year-old son who reportedly just started college. Young man, I am so sorry. Her sister said in a GoFundMe description that Heidelberg was pronounced dead at the scene from her injuries. Now, the family also told WGN that they are absolutely broken by what happened and are awaiting results of the investigation to see if additional charges will be filed. Now, she is awaiting behind bars until her detention hearing. I do not hope she gets bond. I hope she stays in. I hope she stays in because I am done. I am done. I just do not like any of these things. And to the family and the fiance left behind, I hope you're getting support, love, and care, because I can't imagine. It is horrific and terrible and just not good at all. Well, I think we need a puppy kitten break, so that's what we're gonna do. I've made an executive decision.
Like a dumpster dive and humans forget how to thrive. Take a break, just you and me, with a puppy and kitten, wild and free. Paws and purrs, let's drift away to a land where tails wag and play. No more noise, just gentle news in our furry four-legged cruise.
Well, Nicolas Cage and Lisa Marie Presley didn't have like a stable relationship. I mean, am I shocked? No. Am I shocked that someone who has to play in every single Left Behind movie because he owes so much taxes is throwing away a $65K engagement ring because he's mad? A little bit, but now I see how he got into debt. Apparently, Nicolas Cage and the late Lisa Marie Presley's romance got so intense that the Oscar-winning actor once tossed her $65,000 engagement ring into the ocean amid one of their epic fights. The expensive outburst was described in a newly released book penned by the late star's mother, Priscilla Presley, 80, titled Softly as I Leave You, Life After Elvis. Now, in the book, which was released Tuesday, Priscilla said a furious Cage threw a stunning 6-carat 65,000 diamond ring off the side of a vessel during a boat trip in Southern California. I'm not looking up scuba diving stuff and how to find this ring. Again, I am not shocked that this man might not be the most stable in relationships. But I am shocked that someone throws a hella expensive ring off the side of the boat. In other news, I'm gonna go take up scuba diving. No reason. Now, anyone who is shocked by this must not have been paying attention for the last forever, but apparently people are outraged as a gay couple in a hit film were digitally altered to be straight for Chinese audiences. The CCP has been doing this for years. Are you new? Have you seen what they did to, oh gosh, Finn in well, all of the Disney sequels? Do you see what they did with Black Panther? I mean, this is not an uncommon thing. Do you see what Disney had to do to make Mulan, the live action stuff, how much they had to kowtow? This is not news. This is normal. But apparently, people have been left shocked because they haven't been paying attention. Moviegoers have been left outraged after a popular horror film was edited using AI to alter a same-sex wedding. Together, starring real-life couple Dave Franco and Allison Brie, follows a couple who start physically melding together after moving into or to the countryside to work on their relationship. Well, apparently, again, I don't care. This is not news. This is something that has always happened in China. It's a centrally controlled government that censors things. They have their own TikTok, their own Weibo instead of, I think, TikTok, their own everything. This is not news. This is just normal. But I guess people have to complain. They're going to complain. Complaining. And okay, you're outraged. So what? I'm outraged by a lot of things. I am outraged that people that demand to get $20 to $30 an hour to work at McDonald's continue to ask me if I want cheese when I've ordered a hamburger. I am outraged. Doesn't mean anything's going to happen. Okay. I'm outraged that, people don't get my ever so subtle signs of, walking away and trying to leave, but instead continue to talk to me like I'm in a hostage conversation. Okay, I'm outraged. I don't care. Since when did we give people the idea that they are so special that their outrage is somehow more marketable or precious than everyone else's? I don't get that. Look, either I'm outraged or I just continue to silently fume and, achieve the same thing. Now, in our final story, I don't know the scienceology behind this, but I am super stoked. I love learning about, sciencey things. In fact, I wanted to be an astronomer when I was young enough to not realize that astronomy is all math, and we know I can't math to save my life. Then I wanted to be a chemist, and then I learned it was, again, all math. Like, I'm outraged that, to learn all this cool stuff, you have to know math. I demand a change. Untalented mathologists should be allowed. Well, black hole collision has been confirmed, and it, actually confirms decades-old predictions by both Einstein and Hawking's. Astronomers have finally detected a collision between two black holes in unprecedented detail, offering the clearest view yet into the nature of these cosmic oddities and confirming long-held predictions made by legendary physicists both Albert Einstein and Stephen Hawking. Now, the event, dubbed GW250114, became known in January when researchers spotted it with the Laser Interferometer Gravitational Wave Observatory, or LIGO. So this is where they actually have two sets of mirrors that bounce a laser off it, I think, and then they can detect what magical space-time movement. Look, I am about Spaceballs level of science. I have no idea. I want to go forward into plaid, but you never go full plaid. Now, the search for gravitational waves, a phenomenon predicted in 1915 as part of Einstein's theory of relativity, is the only way to identify these black hole collisions from Earth. Now, Einstein believed that the waves might be too weak to ever be picked up by human technology, but in September 2015, LIGO recorded them for the very first time, later netting a Nobel Prize for the three scientists who made key contributions to the development of this black hole telescope. which is also the name of my punk band. The newly detected black holes were each around 30 to 35 times the mass of the sun, and they were spinning very slowly, according to people that can decode this mathness. But I am just stoked because I love seeing how science kind of works. I don't understand all of it. Doesn't mean I can't appreciate it. And I love this kind of thing. Yeah, what? Two black holes fell in love. And let me see if Megan's got the stream up yet, so I can redirect to her because she is getting ready to come on. Thank you guys for hanging out this morning, for all of the love you have shown this morning. This is Mornings with Mo. I am, fingers crossed, going to be having a Saturday morning. So I'll be doing this 6 days a week. And next week, as a teaser, I have gotten access to Sarah Boone's family court shenanigans video, or at least audio of it. And we are having a Boonathon sometime next week. So I even got a brand new song for it. So I'll let you guys listen to that on the outro. Remember, you guys, be kind to yourself, be kind to others, but have a sassy mouth and carry a can of bitch fire, because kindness doesn't equal doormat. Not anymore. And here, I found all my Sarah wigs. She is back. Guess who's back? Cheese Slice back.
Oh, Sarah, she won't forget. She's an honor roller, no regret. No tears have touched her lashes yet. She's scribbling like a Shakespeare vet. A lawyer came to plead her case, but fled that cell with lightning pace. They skimmed our notes, then left no trace, just vanished from that boon-shaped space. Oh, boon, boon, scribble away 100 pages every day. Your lawyers run, but that's okay. You got cheese and things to say.
I'm going to have to change that last card, but yes, Sarah Boone shenanigans are back on the menu, boys. I've got the wigs and the hair gel and the tenacity to stick with that until I get the perfect hair helmet and cheese slices and Mad Dog 2020. We are taking this on the road, folks. Bye, you guys.